All right, we're going to move on to Mama Didn't Raise No Foos question. It says, can we do a fun question like, how is Brian liking his newish Model X Plaid?
Hey.
Well, there's a question.
There is a question. Is that the question?
That's the question.
That she wants, or I guess Mama didn't raise enough food. Could be he or she.
Yes.
How are you like? So it's interesting, Brian. You've been on this journey, right? Really, really excited about Teslas pretty early on, right? And when the very first, not the first Tesla, but the first affordable Tesla came out, the Model 3 came out, you're like, I gotta see what this is all about. And you did it. And I gotta say, as someone who's known you, gosh, for many decades now, it's one of the purchases I've seen you make that I've not seen like an iota of buyer's remorse when you bought your very first Tesla. And it seems like that's maybe held true through time. Is that the case as you've changed through their automobile lineup?
So I don't mind sharing. I got the Model 3 in 2018. It was one of the earlier ones. I loved it. And I was like, man, this is going to revolutionize the way cars work. And I don't know of any Tesla owners that are like, these cars stink. Now, I know there's a lot of people hate Tesla. They hate Elon. But I'm just telling you, anybody who owns the vehicles, they're fun to drive. There's a lot of good that I get out of driving Tesla. And the full self-driving is coming a long ways. I am nervous about some of the decisions that are being made. But overall, I still am a happy Tesla owner. So I went from Model 3. And then I got this in the pricing during the pandemic or post-pandemic. There was these crazy pricing deals because I had put in a deposit on the Model Y when they announced it, but I loved my 3, but they were going to honor the old prices. They were going to throw in full self-driving at this really cheap price. So I jumped on the Y and I sold my Model 3 to actually a coworker, and they're loving it still. I mean, every time that she's in town and they're driving, and I'm like, I still love how beautiful that car is because it was a good looking car with my midlife crisis red.
I was going to say, I was about to beat you to it.
But then once again, Elon and his crazy pricing games, they offered you could have a one-time transfer. You know, I fell for the one time. No, they're going to offer this every time they need a quarter end boost in sales. I've come to realize, but they're like a one-time deal if you wanted to upgrade your Tesla. So I was like, and they slashed the prices on these Model X's. They were like if you wanted the Plaid, it was like a $150,000 car. We had clients that bought the $150,000 Plaid price, and when they dropped these things down substantially, and I got to keep my full self-driving, I was like, man, this will be a great deal. Now, they got me on the wash, on the trade-in on the Y, but still, I like the X a lot. It feels a little more comfortable because my complaint with my Y, and I think they've fixed this because they put air suspension on it, was just so stiff. You go over a railroad track and you feel it in your teeth. Now, the question I think this next goes to is, what about the Cybertruck?
I know. How's your Cybertruck treating you?
You know, in our neck of the woods, and maybe in other parts of the country, you're seeing them all over, but we're starting to kind of see them in our neck of the woods now.
So I don't know how early, but I got offered to build the Cybertruck, one of the Founder Series. It was probably 2 or 3 months ago. So I could have gotten one of these things pretty early, but I just had this gut feeling that I should hold off. And I don't mind verbalizing what my thoughts were. Is that it's just such an odd looking vehicle, and it's not completely practical for me because it won't fit completely in my garage. So that was going to be some logistical things. My wife doesn't think it's exactly the best looking vehicle ever, and that means a lot to me because I'm still trying to make my wife.
That means a whole lot.
I want to look cool in front of my wife,
yeah.
You know. So it's one of those things. And then I had this realization when I started seeing them around town. I was like, I really like this vehicle, and I'm sure everybody who's driving right in this moment in time, this would be the coolest vehicle I could own because it would get a lot of head turning factor. But I'm just worried a year from now, because I know where we live, there are going to be these things are going to look like Honda Accords around here,
all over the place.
And then I was like, is this going to be the PT Cruiser? And I didn't come up with that. I read that in an article somewhere. Is this going to be the PT Cruiser of 2024? Meaning that it comes out with a lot of fanfare, but then it struggles. And that breaks my heart to say that out loud. But that's why I've decided not to do the Cybertruck. And instead, as a consolation prize, I bought a
He
a
bought
small
die-cast model of it.
Cybertruck and put it on the show because it is an iconic thing.
The way
I just
that
don't
you
know if I need it.
smiled when you unboxed that
Oh,
mini
he's so
Cybertruck.
happy. Oh, he's so happy.
It was a
I
good
think,
day.
like I said,
for
if
Brian
I owned
Preston.
the Cybertruck right now, I think I would be super happy and excited I did it because the unique factor, I just don't know how well that ages over the next year to 2
I
years.
don't disagree. I think it's probably true.
And I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But that's where. So I've told my wife, I was like, I could see me driving this X for the next 10 to 12 years. I really enjoy this car.